What is good, YouTube? Watch you here with a video on the future of DC. So over the last couple of days, there has been a lot of interesting and misleading articles about what is going on in the DCEU future, what is going on with Superman, what is going on with Justice League. There's a very interesting and very misleading variety article that we are going to break down here on this channel properly. So if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any videos at the 100,000 subscriber mark. If we ever get there, we are just under 24,000 subscribers away. I will give away a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X or a Switch with any game. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel as fast as you can so we get to that number faster. So there has been a lot of headway with DC Studios recently because they've got a lot going for it. This week we've got the DC Titans finale, which will introduce the first live action variation of Nightwing that we've had in such a long time. So we've also had a lot of release the Snyder Cut. Now a lot of people don't actually really understand what that is. So essentially people just think it is showing off Zack Snyder's variation of the Justice League, and that's not what it is. That's not exactly what it is, and it's not what it is. The whole movement behind Release the Snyder Cut, it's to do with giving everyone that worked on that project justice. There were a lot of people, the voice actor for Darkseid, a lot of people worked on that movie and they just got cut out because essentially what happened was Zack Snyder had to leave the project because of an incident with his daughter that left him in turmoil for a long time. So essentially, I don't really know if they fired him, but for some reason during that time he left the project, got essentially taken over by Sweden, aka Joss Whedon, and then they cut 80% of the movie out because literally you could make a new movie with everything in the Snyder Cut. So this Variety report, it really is interesting because it doesn't give any sources. And know what you're going to think, it's Variety. I don't care who it is. It's not real. It's Variety. I don't care who's Variety. There is no quote. So essentially everyone seems to think that the Snyder Cut is going to be coming to HBO Max because obviously AT&T own, you know, literally everything DC does. So the launch of HBO Max has inspired some hope that Warner Bros. May allow Zack Snyder's release to come to the big screen, landing to social media campaigns dubbed Release the Snyder Cut. Well, realistically, whoever's wrote this article is so out of touch and so ill-informed because Release the Snyder Cut hashtag's been going on before the movie was released over 2 years ago now. Snyder directed an early version of the ill-fast Super Team movie and had planned to do some reshoots. However, after his daughter died, he was not able to complete production and was replaced by Joss Whedon. Now, that's kind of partially true. There's a bit of misleading in there because they could have still used what he wanted. Essentially, Warner Bros. Thought it was too dark and gritty, just like they did with Batman vs. Superman when they cut that down and watered that down. So essentially, we've not even come close to seeing Snyder's variation of the movie. So Joss Whedon, who injected a much lighter-hearted tone into the film, much lighter-hearted film. What's that on? You mean when Ezra Miller's Flash fell on top of Wonder Woman, you know? I'd love to see the conversation when Joss Whedon's like, yep, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, yeah, you're going to have to let Ezra Miller fall on top of you because that's funny. Now, we know that obviously Gal Gadot has supported this campaign to release the Snyder Cut, and I'm telling you guys, it will be released. Even if it takes many years, it will be released. Logistically, however, there's a little appetite at the studio for spending the millions of dollars it would require to finish visual effects and editing on this Snyder's vision. It's not really Snyder's vision. Snyder did Man of Steel, which is very good. Obviously, Batman vs. Superman, we're supposed to do Justice League 1 and 2. As you know, this Justice League movie, it was supposed to be like a three-parter, essentially, and we're supposed to spire off the other movies like Man of Steel 2, etc. But the whole visionary got ruined. Politically, as Justice League was a commercial disaster, it was a commercial disaster because you changed the whole freaking movie. There are currently no plans to release the Snyder's version on either theaters or HBO Max, even though the engagement on Release the Snyder Cut got over 3 million engagements. Now this is where this gets laughable. And I really hope someone at Variety sees this article and can get in touch with me. My email address is down below. Because this is fabricated. There is no source. Now, if this is meant to be a direct source from, someone at Warner Bros., give me a name. Come on, give the Snyder Cut fans a name. This is not about getting justice for Zack Snyder. This is about getting justice for every single person linked to it. So, I'm going to quote an unforeseeable quote, which realistically doesn't have it. That's a pipe dream, said one knowledgeable insider. There's no way it's ever happening. No way it's ever happening. Who, what, where said this? A knowledgeable insider. This is not WeGotItCovered.com. This is Variety, that's supposed to be a respectable source, a respectable publication. Give us a name. If you're going to say it's never, ever, like Chris Jericho would say, gonna be released, give us a name. And it is going to be released. It's just going to take some time. Then also what happened was Zack Snyder fired back. And he said, can you give us hope, Zack Snyder? And then Zack basically said, don't give up. So it is coming. Obviously, Zack knows more than us. Jason Momoa's seen the cut. And it's almost like Warner Bros. Can't accept that the Snyder Cut exists. It does exist. He fired out some brand new images, that we haven't seen. More and more images. I mean, there's that many images online now, guys, that you could literally make your own movie up with the amount of new images there are. So you got every cast member except for Henry Cavill supporting it recently, but we'll get into that in a bit, why he hasn't supported it. That's to do with him still being Superman. So it is interesting how it's a pipe dream. So Snyder replied with don't, Someone said to him, say something about the cut since he was losing hope. Don't. Does he know something we don't know? And you got to factor in Warner Bros. Refollowed Zack Snyder on social media. And when you work in Hollywood, that means a lot. Is he just keeping fans' dream alive? No, because he knows it exists. Literally everyone in this movie has seen it. So release the Snyder Cut is coming. Now we get to the comical value of this video. So, Michael B. Jordan, who I think is a very good actor. He starred in movies like Black Panther as Killmonger. He starred in Creed 1 and 2. Very, very good actor. Now, I really like Michael B. Jordan, and I understand there is a colored variation of Superman in the comics, and I'd love to see different variations of Superman in the comics. But Henry Cavill is still Superman. I'm going to keep saying that until I'm debunked. So my main problem with this article, this exclusivity about this article, is they're not sourcing anyone. Now, this isn't like some random tweet. This is an article of them saying the following. The studio has less clarity on what to do with Superman, a character who has been now rebooted 2 different times in the last 13 years. Once with Brandon Routh, Superman returns, and he's returning to play this role in the Sparrowverse, Arrowverse, Wokeverse, whatever you want to call it, during Crisis on Infinite Earth, which is turned into Cameo on Infinite Earth, but that's a different story. So essentially, they've got no clarity of what to do with the Superman character. Yet there is going to be 3 different variations of Superman during a crossover, one being the Tyler Hoechlin show variation, one being Brandon Routh, and then one being Tom Welling from Smallville, although we all know he's hardly going to be in it because it's pretty much being confirmed. So you got no clarity what to do with it. There's going to be a Sparrowverse, Tyler Hoechlin variation of the Superman character. So you're making a Superman TV show, right? Superman's in the crossover, but there's no clarity what to do with the character. Really. And then we go over to Titans. You got Krypto and you got Superboy. Yet again, a Superman-based character, but you got no clarity of what to do. And then it goes on to say, and later with Henry Cavill's Man of Steel without landed on a winning strategy. Well, Man of Steel, you can't compare, say, Man of Steel to a movie that comes out 5 years later because money changes and all them kind of things. So you cannot compare the two. Superman has also appeared frequently on television in such shows as Lois Lane, Lois and Clark, Smallville, which has led to some fears at Warner that the market could be oversaturated with hot takes on all these Clark Kents. No, that is not going to happen. So now we get into the third quarter of this video. It's going to be a long one. To help find a way to make Superman relevant to modern audiences. Superman relevant. Okay, so Shazam did really well. They're making Shazam 2. You know, there was literally going to be a Henry Cavill Superman cameo role in it, but he didn't want to do it for some reason. Obviously, they didn't really give him much of a role because the variation of Superman that ended up in this movie was literally a stunt double for Henry Cavill. Now, I don't know if it was specifically... Go and comment about that down below, guys. Love it. I don't know if it was meant to be his stunt double, but the character had the same suit as Superman. If you were going to make out it was a different Superman from the multiverse or something like that, you would not make it look so similar to Superman. Now, this is where it gets into the point that there has been discussions with, JJ Star Wars, essentially the person who's kind of ruined the Star Wars franchise, maybe Star Trek, and now apparently he's going to be top of DC. Please do not ruin this franchise. But I will give Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker Episode 9 a chance, and maybe it could be a good movie. Maybe. So apparently there's been a meeting with Michael B. Jordan, who killed it in Killmonger. Very good actor. Cool Creed character. Very good. Early this year with Creed Star. Pitching Warner Bros. On a version of the character. Okay, so this article essentially is saying Michael B. Jordan pitched a variation of Superman to the studio. However, Jordan isn't ready to commit to taking on the project since filming doesn't seem likely to happen for several years. Okay, now this is very weird. So it's like saying I'm going to go for a job interview, okay? But it's not going to happen for 5 years, but I'm just going to come in, waste my time, and then you won't employ me for 5 years. There is no current Superman movie in the schedule, or is there? So I don't really understand if this meeting ever took place. Now, I'm not saying anyone is misleading or lying, but this is not a direct quote from Michael B. Jordan himself. So, it went on. However, Jordan is not ready to commit on this project. Okay. And he has a full dance card of projects. Insiders think the new Superman film is unlikely to hit screens before 2023, given the fact there's no script and no director, and also given the fact that Henry Cavill is Superman. You can't fire someone that is currently Superman. And then you've got the factor that during the Men's Health article, because Henry Cavill is doing The Witcher, is playing Geralt. It's a pretty awesome show. I can't talk spoilers, but it's very good. So Henry Cavill is Superman. So I don't understand why there is any talk of this. Because like I said, I do not care if it's Variety or if it's Deadline. There is no source. Okay, you can say exclusive, but throughout this whole article, guys, there is literally no quotes. So you say Michael B. Jordan went for a meeting and there is no quotes from anyone. So also in the news, so Henry Cavill's Superman, okay, is still Superman. Let's just get it straight. So Boss Logic dropped an image, because the Rock's team wanted him to, of Superman taking out Black Adam, commissioned 2018 before they wrapped up essentially what was going to happen in the Black Adam movie. Okay, Danny Garcia manages The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and Henry Cavill. Okay, cool. Okay, you get where I'm going with this. So, if he isn't still Superman, then why would they get that picture commissioned? It just makes no sense to me. And yes, I was having a discussion with a pretty interesting insider yesterday. I won't say who it is, and he brings up some very good points that it's looking like the Black Adam movie will be set in the past, and in that context, it wouldn't really make much sense for Henry Cavill to debut or be in that movie. Debut, because it would be the first time he's played the role for such a long time. So in that context, I agree with that kind of counter-argument. Why would they randomly slide Superman into a movie if it's a Black Adam Origins? They wouldn't, but there could be a bunch of Easter eggs or a post-credit scene. Now, Boss Logic posted an image, of Man of Steel 2, saying he hopes it comes up. Mr. Henry Cavill likes it, okay? Why would he like it? I don't think he kind of randomly scrolls through Instagram. I don't think he would have time to do that. So Boss Logic gets into a conversation down below, and someone says, it's not going to be Henry Cavill Superman, is it? And he goes, I wouldn't be too sure. Now, as we know, Boss Logic is becoming a Hollywood graphics designer, so to speak. I've spoken to him a few times in the DMs. He's a pretty cool guy. Follows me on Twitter. Really cool guy. But what I'm getting at now is he's done a lot of artwork for a lot of big movies. He did the Black Adam one for The Rock, for the official one when they launched, and said that it's coming out 2021 Christmas. So there is evidence there if you want to see it. And I know a lot of people would discredit saying Michael B. Jordan is Superman. But Henry Cavill said, I'm not giving the cape, it's my cape. There's lots of stories to be told. Yet I'm trying to find, and my research team is trying to find a quote from Michael B. Jordan himself. I've looked everywhere. My research team's looked everywhere. I cannot find any quotes anywhere from Michael B. Jordan confirming this. So as far as I'm concerned, this Variety article is speculation. DC film plots future with Superman, Green Lantern, and R-rated movies. Well, that's not really the case, because you're saying there is no clarity what they want to do with Superman, yet DC put Superman in the Shazam movie with loads of BVS, implying the Shazam movie happened after Justice League, which means that it's still canon, and release the Snyder Cut will happen and everything. So I just wanted to do a wrap-up of this article, because it doesn't really make it clear. I mean, I've read it a bunch of times. It doesn't make it clear where, who, what, and when is the sources. I mean, it says a lot of things, but it doesn't really say anything. DC films may achieve more consistency when it comes to reviews and box office performances, but there are still hurdles to overcome. Namely, the company and its parent studio, Warner Bros., have yet to figure out what to do with iconic characters Superman and Batman. Well, not really, because Batman, they've got a new Batman, Robert Pattinson, who apparently is struggling to put weight on, so they reckon they're going to delay filming. So there is a new Batman, so there's no problem there. They just literally have to make Man of Steel 2, and that'll be it. So I'm not really sure if I'm debunking the kind of Michael B. Jordan story, but at the moment, there's no evidence. I mean, the same Michael B. Jordan story went around about, I think, a year ago or so. When the Henry Cavill is no longer Superman story came around, and then Warner Bros. Officially, said something, and then you looked into it, and realistically, they didn't confirm or deny. Danny Garcia didn't really confirm or deny that he isn't Superman. So it's just interesting how everyone's like, yeah, he's not Superman anymore. Henry Cavill's not Superman. But there's no evidence to suggest he isn't. There's more evidence to suggest that he is still Superman. And I'm not going to believe he isn't Superman until Michael B. Jordan comes out and says, yes, I'm in talks for Superman. It's all right saying, yes, insider experts. I mean, I talk to a lot of insider experts, and they can be wrong. They can be right. But one thing for sure is, there is literally no evidence to suggest these meetings ever happened. Until Michael B. Jordan himself comes out and says, yeah, I'm Superman, which he could be. Like I said, there's a multiverse out there. I guess eventually they will do a movie variation of Crisis on Infinite Earth, where the Anti-Monitor and the Flash is a big storyline. But again, it's like, where is the Flash movie? It's not going to be coming out till after Fantastic Beasts 3, so it's not going to come out till after 2023. I guarantee you guys, there is going to be a Baby Yoda movie before we get the Flash movie. What am I saying here? What I'm saying is, it doesn't really matter what you think or what anyone else thinks, because there's no evidence, okay? There is literally no evidence that Michael B. Jordan is Superman. There is evidence, though, that Henry Cavill is Superman, because he hasn't been fired. Let's say that he has still got one more role left on his contract, because that would have been the Shazam cameo. He hasn't done that yet, has he? So, I'm seeing lots of websites saying Henry Cavill is out as Superman. Based on what? I think Michael B. Jordan is a very talented actor, and I'd love him to appear in a DC movie. But there is literally no evidence to suggest that. I love it when websites like Deadline and Variety post articles, but they don't ever source people. I mean, if you are like getting information from Warner Bros. Themselves, surely, but yeah, a rep from Warner Brothers said this. So I'm finding it very interesting. I will keep you up to date with the latest and greatest Superman, Justice League, DC news. Because at the moment, guys, there is no evidence to make me think anyone else is going to be Superman other than Henry Cavill. But like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.